later.
Okay.
For those who...
What we do here is go back.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
To see what's behind these closed doors. But I promise you,
Hey! Welcome, everyone, to the Child of Mecha live stream. I'm your host, Tim, the one and only Child of Mecha. It's Friday. I don't know what else to say to that. It's Friday. Day 2 of full-time modeler life. Here we go. Let's do this. So, we're going to continue on with this little SD build. And then tonight is Mechanism. So, that should be a lot of fun. And what I think I'm going to do is what I'm going to do is I'm going to do every single weekday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. every single day, right? And for what we're going to work on the SD during the day. And then during the nighttime streams, the normal Monday, Wednesday, Friday, well, Monday, Wednesday for the foreseeable future, because we're going to move Mechanism to a weekly basis, just to keep everybody kind of socialized, right? So Mechanism is going to be every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, but then I'm going to do my normal live streams on Monday and Wednesday Eastern, 10 p.m. Eastern, and on those nightly shows, I think what I'm going to do is go back to the GBWC build and kind of work on both builds at the same time, right? So it'll be 5 days of the SD build during the day, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, and then GBWC build on Monday and Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern. I think that's fair, right? Productivity. I like productivity. So, and hell, what else do I got to do with my time right now? Fucking pandemic. Anyway, yes. So tonight is Mechanism. Should be a lot of fun, hopefully. But yeah, it'll be fun to hang out with everybody. You know what I mean? It'll be fun to hang out with everybody. So, expect that for however long we have left in this cruel, cruel world. Anyway, so you guys rocking the Anaheim Electronics, check that out. That's pretty sweet, right? If you want one of these amazing hats that comes in this nice dark gray and navy, hit up www.childofmecha.com. Store button up at the top, shirts and hats and all sorts of other cool stuff, right? Go load up. I hear they make great apocalypse presents. Because if you can't laugh at it, what can you do, right? It's not like I'm just gonna roll over and die and cry in a ditch. No, we're gonna move this fucker along and keep going with it. That's what we're gonna do. So, anyway, aside from that, if you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we were going to be working with here today, Amazon link just below here on Twitch and YouTube. That side, if you're watching on Facebook, I do get a bit of a commission based off the stuff that you buy, but it doesn't increase the cost for you, and it goes to help me live. Hey. And aside from that, if you are interested in model kits and paints, or the amazing Mecha Decals, I highly suggest that you pick them up. Check out our good friends right down here, USA Gundam Store. Adam, the fine crew down there will definitely have what you need, right? So, here we go. Let's do this, shall we? Let's gotta get the hat off. Gotta put that off to the side, because we're gonna put our eyes on here in a little bit. But let's get caught up with what we're doing with this SD, right? Just real quick, just shout outs. Jeremy Shasan, he's over there on Facebook. What's going on, Jay? He says, I'm considered essential, so I have to go to work. Oof! Sorry, man. Yeah, I know. Ranger Chris, he says, could be worse. He could be out here in California about to be under martial law. Yeah. Let's see. Chris Pab says, Tim, a random high-grade Sinanjo arrived in the mail today. Not sure what's going to happen there. Huh. Interesting. Did I mean, who is it from? People just sending you shit for no good reason, right? Let's see. George, Mr. Old School Gunplay, he's over there on YouTube. He says, laugh or cry, better to laugh. Yeah. I mean, kind of all you can do, right? All I can do at this point. So, anyway. Kenneth Sim had to say, morning, it's 3 a.m. on my side. Well, Kenneth, thank you, buddy. Thank you for tuning in, right? Hey, look at that. William Navarro, he's over there in the Facebook group, the Mecha Army Facebook group. He says, cheers, buddy Tim. Dubai is on lockdown, so we are now in whip mode. Dude, every place is in lockdown, bro. Every place, man. Like, it seems like every country in the world is on lockdown. Fucking blows. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to continue building giant robots. Alright, let's go camera 2. Boom. Here we go. Alright, so let's get zoomed in and kind of recap where we are at right now. Okay? So, let's get all this moved off to the side. Where we are with this little guy is right here, right? These are all pretty much finalized proportions at this point, right? So this is looking good. I'm really, really happy with this. I love the hands and how kind of big and kind of gorilla-like they are and everything. It just adds to the super deformed look. The overall proportion of the body is really good because this is the high-grade body and arms, SD head, and then these are Bandai 1/100 scale builder parts for the hands, right? So, and these hands are massive, even for 1/100 scale. They're big. They're big hands. You compare them to the Sinanju and Jesta hands, the fully articulated ones, these are even bigger. So I don't know what Bandai was thinking in terms of scale for these hands and what to put them on, because aside from kid bashing into a weird little SD, I don't know what the hell else you're going to put them on, quite frankly. Maybe a 1/60th F91, I don't know. But, yeah, these are crazy. So that's where we are with this. I really love, like I said, the proportions of this. The slender midriff of this just kind of puts it all in frame and all that. I think it's really, really good. So that's where we are with the upper body. Now, just real quick. Chris Pab says, my wife's company just went into furlough today, so there's that. That sucks, dude. I mean, I know where you're at. Trust me, I know where you're at. Goalie Zero, he's over there on Twitch. He says this model is on lockdown. Thanks, dude. Hey, Mr. John Bias is over there on Facebook. He says, what's up, Tim? John, thank you, buddy. Thank you for tuning in. That means a lot. Chris Pab says, I'm expecting the same in the next few days. Ain't that a bitch? He says, health-wise, absolutely. As long as we're diligent, we will be fine. Economic damage will take longer to recover. Yeah, that's the foreboding. That's the darkness, right? But we'll find a way, I guess. We'll find a way. Gary, Mr. Y-Rag Gumpa, he's over there on Facebook too. He says, good morning. Unfortunately, my work is essential, so I still work. I mean, I wouldn't mind being an essential person right now. Just saying. Couple of Uruguay, Mr. Javier, he's over there on YouTube. He says, yep, for some more than others, but I'm trying to keep optimistic. Yeah. Lyle Lugria, he's over there on Facebook. Whenever I see SD kits, I always wish we could get kits more like SWR proportions, which I guess Converge kind of does, but I don't know, it doesn't do it for me. Yeah. I kind of like this aesthetic. This kind of looks cool for me. I wanted to do something kind of different, so I didn't want to go straight SD, so I went with a combination of these two, and it kind of works. Yeah. Robert Cottrell is over there on YouTube. He says, Ohio is slowly closing down. Dude, I think every place is slowly closing down. Julio, Mr. Clip and Nubs, he's over there on YouTube as well. He says, we about to sell guns and drugs. Jesus. Julio's about to turn into the Lord of War over here, man. Kenneth Sim, Italy not doing great now, as I know. Yeah, Italy's kind of in a tough spot right now, right? Let's see. William Wimp says, Julio, sell the backlog instead. Julio's like, nah. Man, oh man. But, hey, Kyle Harris, Mr. Clueless Gumbler, he's over there in the Facebook group, the Mech Army Facebook group. He says, off to find out who's working from home and who's coming to the office. Still have fun, Tim. Dude, Kyle, thank you, buddy. Kyle just sent me in the email today a completely cataloged list of what each stream covered during the airdrop build. So that's pretty damn cool, right? So we're going to be working on that and trying to update and catalog the live streams and everything. Obviously, I've never done that before, which in retrospect I probably should have, because it would have made searchability a lot easier for you guys. Hindsight's 20/20 though, right? What are you going to do? Cheers to that. All right, so let's get you caught up with what I did after the stream yesterday, right? So here is the leg. Here's the leg before, right? This has the shortened upper thigh and everything, so that all is looking pretty, pretty good. Excuse me. And then what I went ahead and did yesterday is I cut the other leg down to about there. So a significant amount shorter. We took out about, I don't know, 5 millimeters or so out of the lower leg. And combining that with the huge chunk that we took out of the upper thigh, I think proportion-wise, the legs would be pretty much good to go, right? So we're going to be working on the legs here a little bit today and trying to figure a way on how to make this work, right? Because we have other considerations to think about, like the side grenade racks and stuff like that. These guys right here. We need to figure out mounting solutions. We need to figure out how the knee is going to go back together, how I'm going to take this thing apart for paint, and all that good stuff. So those are all huge considerations that we have to take into account at this point, right? You can't just cut it, glue it back together, and bada boom, bada bing, you're good, right? There's a domino effect. You cut one piece, it's going to affect more. So I'm going to show you kind of how to juggle all that stuff, because it is a juggling act. I will not lie to you. So, Woody Bishop, he's over there on Facebook. He says, I'm on Axemen leave as of today, so I'm looking forward to getting lots done. Just ordered a petite bear guy, I guess, and an SD Zaku 2 for a daughter and a dad build. Aw, look at that. That's awesome, Woody. Good stuff, man. Woody's a good dude. Let's see. Julio says that playlist is going to be fire. Yeah, what Kyle put together. Definitely. Roomblade265, Mr. Timmy Wynn, he's over there on Twitch. He says, hello. What's going on, dude? Goalie Zero over there on Twitch as well. He says, I missed the cutting parts, unfortunately. What do you use to get those clean cuts? Actually, I showed... I think yesterday or the day before, I showed how to cut the upper thighs, and it's actually pretty simple. And we'll probably go into cutting this one here a little bit later in the show, right? But all you gotta need is like one of these little crappy little miter boxes, right? And then one of these guys, one of these like razor like razor modeling saws, right? And they're just, they're common to pretty much every hobby store, I think. But yeah, that's all it took. Just hacking through the leg, 28 days style. Yeah, so just gotta cut the damn thing. That's all you gotta do. Just right in half. Anyway, William Wilms, he's got a question.
We have a question.
He says, are you thinking that you will end up gluing this in a static pose in the end? I don't know. I had thought about that. I will not lie. I had thought about that. Because, I got a whole kind of display in mind and everything like that, and a base concept and all that, where, the unicorn's going to be, flying, and he's basically going to be coming, toward you like this, and it'll be kind of a cool little look and everything. Like I said, I'm not going crazy with this thing. This isn't a GBWC build by any stretch of the imagination. But I also, as Pabs has made it abundantly clear, I'm not going to allow myself to cut too many corners on this. It's the Pabfluence that is setting in. So, what are you going to do, right? But Goalie Zero says, oh, damn, I have those. Nice. He says, got my tools from Amazon already. Did you get your 27-cent check yet? I think I might have. It's banking over there on Amazon as we speak. Let's see. Got to get working on mine. Don't want to fall behind. Dude, yeah, at the rate I'm going, shit. You might fall behind, dude. Because without a job, I mean, it's kind of... I don't want to say it's nice, but I'm getting a lot done. So, I guess silver lining? I don't know. Anyway, we got to show these other teams the levels. Yeah, son. Yeah, go big or go home was all you're saying, buddy. Yeah, that's one of my many sayings. Another one is that I say is, if you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. Julio says Pabfluence. Yeah, Pabfluence. It was real. It was real the other night. And then Julio says, can I do Nubfluence? Sure, why not? Anyway. All right. So, with that being said, let's jump into this and let's get to work, okay? So, we're going to put this leg off to the side. Let's talk about this leg here, and let's just get you zoomed in. Now, like I said, when you cut a limb to extend it or shorten it or whatever, or even modify it, it's going to ultimately have a domino effect, right? So I cut this, which means this this back booster here has basically no bottom catch point, right? It has, and that's not a huge problem, but it is something that we have to consider, right? Now, what we can do for that is we can just cut this little bottom tab off of here, leave that floating, and just rely on the top tab when we go to glue everything together. Not a big deal, but still a consideration. Now, in terms of putting this thing back together, as you can see, there is a huge size difference between the sweep of this curve here on the upper part and the taper of this curve on the lower cut part, right? So these two this whole section here needs to be blended together. So we're probably going to have to do that with epoxy putty. And then same for this side too, And the front here, this knee section, as you can see on the stock leg here, went all the way down here in this little kind of angled piece is all connected to that. Now, when I cut this, that piece became that, right? So we're going to have to go back at some point and either fabricate or reattach that piece there to fill in that spot, to fill in that void, right? So, again, something that we have to consider. Now, I'm not super concerned at this point with taking these parts apart and trying to glue up sub-assemblies and all this and all that and blah 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 and everything, right? Because all of these little pieces here are just kind of surface pieces, right? Like this piece here is a surface piece. These side parts here are surface parts. They can all be taken off of this core kind of green block here, right? But when you go to glue this back down, it all becomes one again. Because if we tried to just glue the outer parts here with these outer parts here, the chances are really high that glue is going to seep out and get onto the green part. Now, we could just take these little parts off and try and pray to align them with this, but the accuracy isn't going to be there either, and chances are you're either going to be too thick or too thin, and it's just going to be off. So where does that leave us? Well, that leaves us to glue the whole shebang together and be in masking hell later. That's just the way that it is, right? That's what we're gonna have to do. Because when you do extensive, mods and stuff like this, especially with high grades are the worst. You get, the joints, like this knee joint and everything, that comes off of there, but this knee joint, that's sandwiched between these two pieces. Nothing we can do about that. If we glue this together, that's going to be sandwiched in there, and we're going to have to mask this and paint it and turn the knee and paint that and all that good stuff, right? It's just something that we're going to have to do. That's part of modeling. Welcome to it. So, these are all considerations that we have to take into account, right? And it's just, it sucks, but if you want a good finished piece, you got to put in the work, right? So, there you go. Anyway, Chris Pab says, it's the accent, trust fam. Nice. Ranger Chris over there on YouTube, he says, could be cool if GBWC added a team category for dioramas. That would mess things up, though. And I don't think they'd shell out the money to send 2 people, much less 1 person over. So I wouldn't expect that to happen anytime soon. Let's put it that way. Bandai don't want to shell out the money to send over junior representatives and chaperones from the U.S., Italy, France. I think that's it. Yeah, because we're the farthest countries from Japan, right? So, what are you going to do? Anyway. William Williams says, I expect 2 of these episodes will be just masking. That wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me in a bit. Not even a bit. Anyway. Woobish. That's Woody. Have to go finish yard work. I'll catch up later. Woody, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. So, all right. So, before we get to gluing, we need to cut the other leg. So, let's jump into that. I know Goalie wanted to see that happen. So, we'll make it happen, right? Now, we're going to take off as many parts off of this thing as we possibly can. So, we want to preserve this back cowl piece here that covers the little booster, that little guy right there, right? So we're going to take that off. We're going to take this ankle armor off because we don't need that getting in the way. We're going to take this little side piece right here. We're going to take that off if we can manage it. There we go. We're going to take this knee block off here. right, like that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we're left with. That is what we're going to be cutting today, right? Now, excuse me. How I came up with the cuts themselves was basically 2 millimeters down. Was it 2 millimeters or 3? Yeah, it's got to be 2. Got to be 2. Yeah, that's 2 millimeters. Okay, so 2 millimeters down from the bottom of this knee part there, right? So take a little 2 millimeter piece of plastic, just pop that right up. Pop that right up against there as best as you can, and then take your pencil right across there, and there's our cut, right? Right across the bottom here. And now what we'll do is just kind of eyeball this and just kind of bring that around just like this. And there's our cut line, right? That's our first cut line. Now, second cut line was a bit trickier because I wanted to come up. There's an angle break right here, right? So I wanted to come up just a little bit above that. So we're gonna go about 1 millimeter up from that and right there. And we're gonna take this right around again. And that's what we're going to be cutting. This section in here. That's gonna go away. So let's get. Actually, we're not going to get super zoomed. We need to go wide on this because we need to film the very edge of the desk here, right? So we get our little miter box here. You know, this little guy right here. Like I showed yesterday, this is just a simple plastic. Cheap, super cheap miter box. They do come in like an aluminum extrusion, you know, something like this. I actually like the plastic one better for some reason. I don't know why. Personal preference. But use whatever you got, right? So we're gonna secure that right to the edge of our workbench here, right? Now, since this has an odd profile, right? This has this isn't square, so it's not going to sit square. We need to do something to stabilize it a bit. So we're going to get our good old friend, the yellow tack here, blue tack, poster tack, whatever you want to use. We're going to get this, and we're going to make kind of a makeshift base for the part here to sit on, just so it won't move. So it kind of stays as true as possible, right? So what we'll do now, you can place the part on either side of this miter box. Most people would start and place it on this side where you're cutting, right? I actually like to place it on this side because you're just based on the tooth of the saw, you're getting more cut going in this direction, right? So what I'll do is I will really push on the saw going in this direction, and then just lightly pull back and then push again with some decent force. That gets the best cuts in my estimation. So there you go. So let's get this guy lined up here. We're gonna get him set up. Now it's all right to put the sticky tack here in the path of the blade. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. Alignment is key. That's good. And now we're ready to cut. All right, so this thing is sitting on that sticky tack. It's backed up right against the wall, the back wall of the miter box, and hopefully, it's not going to go anywhere, right? But we'll see. We'll see. All right, so we align our saw in here ever so carefully because this part actually comes above the miter box a little bit, right? So we carefully start to score the piece. And like I said, it's all the cutting is in this direction. Okay, now we're down below the surface of the miter box. And oh yeah. See, that just got through probably a good 5 to 7 millimeters of plastic all in one draw. You'll be through this thing in like no time. And there we go. We are 100% through. Now, the thing to kind of keep in mind is that since this was not perfectly level or straight, we've got an angle, right? It angles down this way in terms of the cut. So we'll come back and Dremel that flat because that's actually well below our cut line. And that's actually a good thing because it's better on the second part to kind of nibble away at the plastic than to try and match it straight out of the match the other part straight out of the gate, right? So that's what we're kind of shooting for at this point. So we're gonna do the same thing to this other side here. Now again, alignment is pretty dang important here. So we're going to try to straighten this thing out as best as we can. And there we go. Alright, so now, in good Civil War fashion, as they're saying in the chat, we cut this leg off. Just bite down, Cletus, bite down. It'll be over soon. Anyway, that is a good clean cut. And there, get the yellow tack out of there. Shit, dropped it. There's all of our cutoff pieces that all kind of came apart. So let's get you zoomed back in, and here we go. So we've got our two pieces here, just like that, right? Now, obviously, they are not straight whatsoever, and they're probably well over the tolerance for the other leg here. Yeah, so just looking at this upper leg here, you can kind of see how this part slopes down, and it's just not in great shape there. So we need to nibble some plastic off of that. And then if we look at the other piece here, this isn't too bad because we kind of lucked out. The top of this green clear block is actually kind of our marking, kind of our designation to where we're cut, right? So we just have a little bit to trim down on this side and then flatten this thing out and we're good to go. So pretty simple stuff, really, right? So at this point, we're going to catch up with the chat, shall we? Persistent Turtle, Mr. Lucas, he says, Tim sells small saws by seashore. Yes. William Williams, how much plastic would a mecha cut if a mecha could cut plastic? Interesting. Simon Lamb, he's over there on YouTube. He says, masking hell or get yourself used to good old hand painting acrylic. It's going to be masking hell. I'd rather go through that than hand paint on any day, honestly. George, Mr. Old School Gunpla, Tim, the Civil War surgeon. Nice. He said, Tim, question. All right, George, here we go.
We have a question.
Hey. What's the thickness of the blade? Great question. I think this is probably about 1/2 mil. But let's find out, shall we? My caliper is dead. Alright, let's take the battery out. Let's pop it back in. Let's see if that does the trick. We'll find out, don't worry. Nope, okay. I have other batteries, so not to worry. Ah, there we go. Haha. You get a little bit more life out of the battery when you do that. I don't know why. I'm not an electrician. Don't claim to be. Alright, so, blade thickness. Here we go. Looks to be about 0.37. So actually 1/3 of third of a millimeter. So actually a little thinner than I thought. So yeah. But let's see, because the teeth, no, the teeth aren't angled. So that's all straight. So yeah, about 1/3 of a millimeter. 0.4 to be on the safe side. So yeah. William Wilm says, I would think more Dr. Mechestein since you are putting different bodies together. It's not bad, right? Brandon5269, he's over there on YouTube. He says, one of my coworkers' fiance's boss got the Rona. He just left work to get tested. Ugh. We're a small company. Pray he doesn't have it and spread it to all of us. Yeah, that would be sucky, right? Especially now. Jesus. Mike Boyd, he's over there on YouTube. He says, I feel kind of fortunate to be a pool cleaner. I don't really have to see anybody to work. Yeah. But, I mean, how much work are you getting right now, though? That's the unfortunate thing, right? George says, thank you. Not a problem, George. Vincent Lewis, he's over there on YouTube. What's up, Vince? He says, hey, Tim, question. Okay.
We have a question.
How often do you use your miter box? Do you have any other uses of it? Honestly, I don't use it all that often. We've been doing this stream for a good long time, and I think that's probably the first time during this, build is the first time we've probably ever pulled that out. So that does go to show you how often I use it, right? Now, it does definitely have other uses, and I will show you why it has other uses. Now, especially when you go to flip it upside down, right? When you flip it like this, and you have that kind of lip right here, right? This now actually makes for a really good tube cutter, lengthwise, right? So let me show you real quick. Where's a wider... where's a wider tube that I can show you guys? Those are all kind of... here we go. Perfect. So say you got this kind of wide-ass plastic tube here, and you want to cut it lengthwise, right? You want to just basically bisect it, right? Well, you pop this up against this lip here, right? And you hold it securely, and you use that lip as a guide, and whoop, right across there, there's your cutting mark. Right there. That's perfectly centered right along the length of that tube, right? Perfectly centered. You can also do it with a lot smaller tubes too. I mean, you can kind of take one of these guys right here and set your pencil in here and just kind of right along there, and then again, there you go. You've got a nice, perfectly straight cut line for tubes and rods and all that good stuff, right? So that is kind of a cool usage out of it. I'm not gonna lie. The kind of the other thing, which is pretty nice, is you can pop this down here, and you can kind of carefully mark you know, your well, you gotta hold it, you gotta figure out some sort of like a stop block on this, right? So like say for instance we got our 1, 2, 3 blocks here, right? And we pop that right there and we kind of secure that. Well, if you want to find a certain distance, you just spin this around like that, and now you've got a nice straight cut line around the diameter of your tube, rod, what have you. Simple stuff, really, right? Simple stuff, but it's a good little tool. Not gonna lie. And what you can also do is just kind of do the same thing on the inside, right? And just stick your pencil lead through there and just kind of spin that around. Obviously, I don't have a stop block to keep it straight, but that's kind of another use as well. So it comes in handy when you need it. Let's put it that way. It's better to have and not need than need and not have. Fair enough, right? So let's see here. Mr. Z, Gumpel Ronan, he's over there in YouTube land. He says, hello, gents. Kyle says, looks like I'll be under house arrest for a little while. Anyone got advice on ignoring your build while working from home? Can't help you with that, buddy. Cannot help you with that. That, you're on your own. Vincent Lewis says, nice. You're welcome, man. Brandon says, I use my miter box in conjunction with my chopper stop blocks for cutting small cross sections of tube. Used to cut 153 millimeter rectangle. Yeah, those tube sections. Yeah. George says, question.
We have a question.
How would you cut the tube then? Scribing tool or knife? Whatever floats your boat, Georgie. Whatever floats your boat. Now, one thing that I will say I've done before is on the Hummingbird with this actual dimension of tube, I actually used this as the connection pieces between the boosters and the thruster bells, right? So the thruster bells that I had were aluminum, and they didn't really have a great connection kind of point, or you know how most metal thrusters have rods that go all the way through and they pin inside of the plastic. Well, the ones that I put on the Hummingbird did not have that. They just had this kind of 2 millimeter short, squatty little protrusion out the end, and it didn't work. So I had to come up with a way to connect the thruster bells to the actual boosters, right? So what I did was I used this section of tube, filled that with epoxy putty, popped one of the, used the epoxy putty trick that we've incorporated, slathered one of the aluminum thrusters with Vaseline, popped it in there. That made kind of a negative mold for it. And then what I did was cast that, duplicated it, and then super glued it all together, and it worked like a charm, right? It's never come apart. But that's all really not important right now. So what I was going to say is scribing along this, you can actually cut as well. So, say you wanted to, take your chisel, you could actually use this, secure this in a way, and just run your chisel right along that guide, and you could do it that way. Now, in terms of spacing, I know nobody asked, but I'm glad you asked anyways. Spacing, that's when one of these guys come into play, right? Miter box off to the side, you find the dimension that you're going after. You pop that in there. You find your 4 cardinal points, which is on every circle template, right? And you mark those. Turn that about 45 degrees. You mark your other ones, so on and so forth. That's how you find your spacing properly. So, William, good question, buddy. Spacing. I'm glad you asked it after I answered it. Hey. Good stuff. Let's see. Julio says, you're going to sleep good, Kyle. You're nesting. Circling the perch. Jesus. No, man. See, that's the one trap that you can't get caught into. You can't. And trust me, I got caught into the trap earlier this morning. I just wanted to sleep. Like, I didn't want to wake up to this bullshit. And I just wanted to sleep. I wanted to stay in bed. I actually got up, went downstairs, sat on the couch. I actually fell asleep on the couch. And that's the trap that you can't get caught into. I did. Don't sleep all the time. Be productive. Julio, you better be productive during this shit. Or I'm gonna come up there, martial law or not, I'm gonna kick your ass. Kyle says, I like that I don't have to wake up early for work now. And Julio says, I still only slept like 5 hours, but now I can 5-hour block it whenever I want. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Fucking up my internal clock hard body. Right? Oh, Jesus. Kyle says, I'll be up at 7 a.m. rather than 5:30. Well, hey, you get to sleep in an hour and a half, right? Yeah. Kenneth M, he says, going to boost with some coffee. Yeah, dude, Kenneth, man, it's 3 a.m. over there, man. So, Kenneth, thank you for tuning in, man. Thank you for tuning in. I know this is the early stream, and then 5 hours after this, the later stream, so 3 a.m. So you're watching it like 8 a.m., dude. So, still, good on you, man. All right. So, that aside, let's get back to cleaning this up here. And the one thing that we need to keep track of is which parts go to which here. So, what we're going to do, to be 100% certain, we are going to take, this is just a kind of a general multi-use scriber. It's got this kind of tungsten carbide point to this. It's basically like a machinist's scriber, right? It's good for multi-use things. I use it for pinpointing like pilot holes and stuff like that, marking pieces. This is the tool that I actually use when I need to scribe a curve or a circle. This is what I get started with, and then got once I've got that pattern laid into the plastic, then I go back with my chisels and clean that out. So this is good for just kind of marking parts. So what we're going to do is we're just going to mark this with an X just like that. Okay, and then we're going to take our other piece, our other part, and we're going to mark that with an X as well. Easy peasy, right? There we go. Now, when it comes to high grades, and this is kind of the worst part about high grades, is that they're just they're not as well designed as master grades. They're never going to be. And I get it because they're cheaper and they're smaller and blah blah blah. But man, pissing me off, this thing. I hate this high grade unicorn. I really do. It's like one of my least favorite builds. So what we're going to do to keep everything nice and clean here, we're going to take these parts off because these are just outer kind of show pieces. So we're just going to carefully pop these off. Super careful. Oh, I just split the whole piece. So that's actually what we were going to be doing anyway, but a little bit prematurely. So we're going to take this guy out of there. And let's see, we're going to pop this guy through. He doesn't want to come out. All right, well, we're going to force you out. There we go. Now we got leverage. It's all about leverage, kids. Who has more of it? In this case, that'd be me. There we go. All right, so there's that. So now what we've got is we've got this block here with these two little pieces on the side, and we need to keep those in place. And then we've got our little ankle assembly here, right? Now, what I'm thinking we might be able to do, let's see if we can or not. We might. Oh yeah, no, that was a tight fit if now that I remember. So we're not going to be doing that. So what we are going to be doing is putting this sumbitch together, just like this. There we go. Now, excuse me, looking at the other assembly, which is weird. Okay, I got it now. That swings back and forth. What's weird is that the cover, the polycap cover on this, whoop, is at the back. It's not at the front. Mainly because the ankle armor probably will cover that and all that good stuff. But, it is what it is. So, what we're going to do next is we are going to get our good friend, Plastic Magic. Yeah? Because we want to seam these. We want to fuse these two pieces together. We just don't want to stick them together. We want them to be fused permanently, right? 100% fused. Let's see. William Williams says, does anyone have good questions for Mechanism? No, not at this point because it was so last minute. And I think what tonight's going to be is just kind of going to be a hangout. I think that's what we need. I think people just need to enjoy each other's company, right? I think that's what we need. I think it's what we all need, to be honest with you. So, that's what we're going to do. Bro Builder, hey, what's up, Brian? He's over there on YouTube. He says, thanks for stopping by the stream last night. Oh, there you go. I was doing shit last night. I couldn't swing it. Julio says, oh shit, get some good questions, Kyle. Right? Deep internal shit. God. Persistent Turtle, Mr. Lucas, he's over there on YouTube. He says, my kids and I are working on 30-minute missions today. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Excuse me. Z, he is over there on YouTube. He says, shit, Brian, I missed the stream. I'm sorry, man. I feel like Evil Kyle now. Yeah. You should, asshole. Aeon Mecha, he's over there on Facebook. Lately, I've seen you live late night. Usually, you live in the early morning time in Malaysia. Yeah, dude. So, I'm a full-time modeler now, because I got laid off. So, yeah, we're augmenting the frequency of the streams and the times and stuff. So, for those of you that are just coming around, tuning in and stuff, it's going to be 5 days a week at 3 p.m. Eastern time, Eastern U.S. time, which is right now. Actually, about an hour ago. And then we're going to do our normal nighttime streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Fridays from here on out will be Mechanism. They'll be dedicated to group builds. And then Monday and Tuesday, those two nighttime shows will jump back on to the GBWC build, and we'll kind of knock out two birds at the same time. So, productivity being laid off. Hey. So, it is what it is, right? Eris 385, that sucks, Tim. Sorry to hear that. Yeah. I didn't really want to talk about this, but a lot of people have been asking and stuff like that. So, my whole company got shuttered. It's just one of those things. Yeah. The whole company got shut down. Because our consultants need to fly, and if they can't fly anywhere, then we're not bringing home any money. So, I don't even know how to say it anymore, the brand manager for the company, chief creative, graphic designer, videographer, drone flyer, whatever you want to, whatever hat I needed to wear at that particular time. So, pretty much everybody just kind of, we're done. So, that's what we got to do. Applied for unemployment. But the sad thing is that who's going to be hiring during a pandemic? Amazon, right? Amazon's going to be hiring. Okay, I drive 40 minutes to and from the Amazon warehouse, spend money on gas every single day for a $15 an hour job, which gets me in front of people who may potentially have the virus, right? And then if I get that, then I'm worse off than what I am right now. Because then I have doctor's bills and then collecting unemployment again. So, hands are kind of tied at this point, you guys. That's why we're going hard. That's why we're going hard with the streaming and everything, right? Because with people being home, you can watch, right? Even a little bit of revenue from YouTube and stuff like that is better than nothing at this point. So, yeah, we're going to go hard on the live streams. We're going to go hard on getting the videos recorded, getting those out there. This, in an unfortunate way, has very much fast-tracked my plans. So, it just is what it is, man. It is what it is. So, anyway. Kyle says, are we going to watch Tim get chocolate wasted again tonight? No, dude, that was sweet tea. Sweet tea. Ricky Paul Carlson, he's over there on YouTube. He says, I'd rather hang out with Swedish bikini-clad women, but I'll stay here. Hey. You're not the only one. William Wilm says, if only we could all be so lucky. True that. Kenneth says, wait, what? Yeah, I got the layoff. It is what it is. No, yeah. I don't want sorries. I don't want any of that. I'm not looking for it. That's not the type of guy I am. Just if you want to help, just watch the streams. That's all. Just watch the streams. Leave them on in the background. Turn down the volume. just play them on, play the playlist or something like that. That helps me get views on on YouTube. That incrementally increases all that. So just, if you want to help, do that. And then shit, maybe watch them, learn something. Hey. And if you're feeling squirrely, go buy something on Amazon or the Chado Mecha store. But again, everybody's in a tough way, so just watch the streams. Anyway. Persistent Turtle says, question! There we go.
We have a question.
If they canceled GBWC this year, will you start a new build for the following year? No. Well, I don't want to say that, actually, now that I think about it. I don't know. It might be a case of airdrop, right? Because airdrop was never meant to be my GBWC entry. It was just a backup. It was just something I did. I personally never thought that it was GBWC worthy. Come to find out. It was. So, I don't know. That remains to be seen. I think it's a little too far in advance. Hey, Goalie Zero. Man, look at that dude. Giving the bits. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. I do. George is over there on YouTube. He says, Tim, permanently or temporarily shuttered? That's the big $64,000 question, Georgie. I don't know. It depends on a lot of different factors right now. As of right this second, it's permanently shuttered. But we hope that will turn into temporarily shuttered if we can get through this thing. So it's just a suck-ass situation. It really, really is. And there's not much we can do with it at this point, other than fight. We got to fight our asses off right now. And that's what we're going to do, right? So, Mike Boyd says, when the flights open back up, do you think you guys will be back? I really hope so. We do automotive consulting. So, one of our our biggest client is Subaru at this point, and they barred any outside personnel from coming in their stores several weeks ago, even before everybody stopped flying, right? So that was a big chunk of change that we lost kind of on a weekly basis, because we have a huge contract with Subaru in terms of consulting their stores on how to do better and how to retain customers and how to just do the right thing, right? So that kind of hurt. So I don't know. It depends on the manufacturers. You look here in the U.S., the big three have shut down all of their plants at this point, and I don't know. It's tough for a lot of people. I'm not just the only one, right? So yeah. That's why I don't want pity. I don't need pity. Pity doesn't pay the bills, right? Like I said, if you want to help out, just watch the stream. That's all I need. Zashan says, harden the paint. Yeah, right. Vincent Lewis says, sorry to hear, bro. It's not permanent shutdown, is it? Yeah, we just answered that. No, we just unfortunately don't know. Julio says, nah, fuck that. We going to the playoffs. Damn right we are. Shit. This is a Super Bowl year, buddy. Ricky Paul Carlson says, now's the time to write that book, Tim. Oh, trust me, brother. 3 steps ahead of you. Always 3 steps ahead. Kyle H, Mr. Clueless Gunplay says, just give Tim more sweet tea. Whew, yeah, well, that sweet tea hit hard. That's like a donkey kick right to your face. Whew, not doing that again. William Williams says, everybody open 20 tabs on your computer and each one play a different episode. Hey, I think it's only based on IP address, though. I could be wrong, but whatever. Julio says, we just broke out the chains, man. Wild beast out here. Damn right, bro. Eris385, always learning from you. Thank you. Appreciate that. That means a lot. That really does. Kyle H says, well, I think I've watched too much Child of Mecha this past month. Yeah. Kyle, I think you probably are at least at least a quarter to half of the ad revenue on YouTube at this point, dude. Eris385, just got a Master Grade Jagan and a Master Grade Faz. Looking forward to build now. Nice. William Williams says, never too much Child of Mecha. Hey. Brandon says, have you started a Patreon, Tim? Again, 3 steps ahead of you, brother. Be patient. Kyle says, you have a point. Yeah. Chris Pab says, pity doesn't, pretty does. Hey. Bro Builder says, you can't eat pity. Goddamn right. Mike Boyd says, things will pick up, man. Wish you and your family the best. Thank you, Mike. I really do appreciate that. That means a lot. Brian, Mr. Bro Builder says, better a donkey kick than a donkey punch. Whew. That would have been bad, right? would have lost all bodily functions at that point. Oh. That would not have been a good episode of Mechanism. Let's put it that way. Wobish, Mr. Woody, he's back. I'm back, baby. Let's rip into some giant robots. Yes. Santa Shrine Fox, they're over there on Twitch. They say good morning. Howdy. Good on you for watching. All right, so now that we're caught up in the chat, let's get back to this, right? It's 4:16. Wow, time is flying on these daytime streams. I'm telling you what, boy. Let's see. Goalie Zero, Tim Harkins, OBE, Gunpla Consultant. Yeah, 25 an hour. Turn your plastic to gold. Call Tim. Yeah, right? 555, Child of Mecha. Boom, go. Shit, I wish, man. I wish. But, like I said, there are, like I said, this thing may be either the worst thing that's ever happened to me or the best thing. Or one of the best things. I shouldn't say the best thing. It could very well be a blessing in disguise. And I'm truly, truly hoping that it is. Because like I said, this has forced me, whether I like it or not, to fast track all plans. All future plans. And I have many at this point, right? I have many plans. And you know, you guys, I want to have come along for the ride, right? You know, we've had our conversations about Patreon. I think until we're blue in the face back months ago and stuff like that. And you know, the way I see it is, it's a tip jar, right? It's a tip jar for services rendered during streams and videos and stuff like that. So if you want to donate to it, or if you want to sign up for it and you want to support, that's awesome. You get some perks for doing it too, but it's a tip jar. There's no pressure in it, right? It's a kind of a way of, like I said, giving back for services rendered, right? You know, there's that. Buy Mecha Decals, right? Watch the stream, buy a t-shirt, whatever, all that stuff. That all kind of helps out. Purchase shit on Amazon. Go buy some toilet paper. I'll still get credit for it. Shit. But that's all, yeah, that's all cycling up at this point. Very fast. Very, very fast. So, it's going to be a busy weekend. Whew, boy. Vince Lewis says everything happens for a reason, Tim. Yeah. I'm not necessarily a religious man. But, you know, coincidences happen. Let's put it that way, right? Kyle H says, is Tim going to start making Gunpla teaching infomercials? I wish. Jesus. Julio, buy Mecha Decals. Cha-ching! Yeah. Anyway, I digress. Let's get off that. Let's get back to building models, because that's what we're here for, right? That's what we're here for. All right. So, let's get this guy seamed up, shall we? What we're going to do first is we're going to put this guy back together. Not completely. We're going to leave like probably about a 0.2 millimeter gap between the parts here, right? And what that's going to help us do is we're going to use capillary action. And let me show you. Let's get zoomed in, super zoom action, and I'm going to show you how I do this, okay? Let's see. Get our zoom box, go 5x, ka-ching. Whoa, that is zoomed in a lot, isn't it? Jeez. All right, here we go. But hey, that's good, right? That's good. While Lugria is over there on Facebook, he says, like Tom Hanks once said, shit happens. Hope he pulls all through all this too. Yeah. I mean, you know, you see the reports of, you know, celebrities and athletes and stuff like that, coaches. Sean Payton of the New Orleans Saints tested positive and all that stuff. And, you know, I feel sorry for them because they got it. These are rich motherfuckers who don't have to worry about mortgages and car payments and stuff like that. So I have a much harder time feeling sorry for those folks than, say, your average Joe. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm pessimistic. I don't know. But it's just kind of where we are in the world. Anyway, again, let's get to building models, shall we? All right. So we've got. There we go. We got our part, and like I said, this is almost sandwiched together, right? Almost completely sandwiched together, but it's not. It's just got a little bit of space, and we get our glue here, and just pop. Just bloop. Come on, there you go. Right into that seam right there. And you can kind of see through capillary action, it just kind of fills that void, right? And look right down here, right? Now watch as we close this up a little bit more. Okay, watch this. It's almost like nope. Right there. Look. Oh, did you see it? It just went right down. Almost like panel lining fluid, right? And then we just smash these together. And hopefully we get just a little bit of squeeze out. That way we know everything is seamed up pretty good, right? And now, if worse comes to worse, what we'll do is we'll just go back and just paint on a little glue right along that seam. Now, all we're worried about here is structural rigidity for this part. That's it. Plain and simple. That's all we're looking for right now. That part is seamed. Dunzo. Let's see. George over there on YouTube, he says, agree, Tim. Too many of us work paycheck to paycheck or close to it. Those are people who deserve our greatest concern and help. Goddamn right. Question.
We have a question.
Hey, it actually worked on time. Look at that. Kyle, Mr. Clueless Gumpla says, will we be seeing tutorials sooner now? Oh, buddy. Yeah. 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 A lot sooner. Trust me. Everything is basically set in motion that it needs to be. So, yeah. You know, I was having a conversation the other night about levels of traffic, especially on YouTube, right? And there's a certain demographic, there's a certain group of people who will religiously watch my streams, and I appreciate those people to the utmost. Those are probably the biggest supporters, right? But then there's obviously some people that either won't or can't watch the live streams. They don't necessarily have time to slog through a 2-hour live stream to pick up little tidbits of information. And I totally understand that too, because people have lives. People have kids and stuff like that, and they have jobs. Some have other 2 jobs or 3 jobs or whatever. So I totally get that. So what I've what I've thought about is, obviously the tutorial series. There's going to be a lot of them, like a lot of them. I've got a list a mile long. My screen just blacked out again. That was weird. It's back now. We're good. So, if I am to make, when I make, the tutorial series and the build along series and all that good stuff, I'm going to be doing, videos on tools and stuff like that, all sorts of stuff, right? Obviously, I won't be doing kit reviews because everybody else does kit reviews, right? There's not a lot of people, if any, that do like tool reviews, right? Like, I could do a review on the Tamiya 123s and how nice they are, how robust they are, how cleanly they cut, what their best uses are, best practices, all that good stuff. I could do a video on the NT cutter and why I personally think it's superior in all aspects to any other cutting implement, right? Those are the things that I kind of want to do videos on, right? Along with, obviously, tutorial videos and stuff like that, too. Those are the tutorials are going to be the biggest part. And they're going to be kind of in, bite-sized, consumable videos. They're not going to be these 40-minute slog fests where you got to like, oh, God, just get to the point. No. They're going to be concise and straight to the point, like 10-minute videos. 10, 12, 15-minute videos. Kind of tops at that point, right? So that's the goal. That's the goal. And at this point, I really don't have much else to do other than live stream, record videos, and work on models. So there we go. That's the plan. I hope you guys are ready for it. I know I am. Not that I have a choice, but still. Brian, Mr. Bro Builder says, I believe so. Newly adopted Bob Ross sound effects included. Hey, I like it. I should dig out some Bob Ross sound clips and just kind of start to incorporate them into the stream and everything. That would be funny as hell. I might do that. Brandon5269 says, I like to prep all my edges with a little plastic cement to soften them. Then I use the capillary action to get the final stick. Yeah, I mean, either way is good. Kyle says, if you need any help, just give me a holler. Yeah, absolutely, bud. Appreciate that. Wobish Woody says, Tim, I know you have probably talked about this before, but what's your opinion on painting inner frames? I say do it. Yeah, I say do it. I always paint the inner frames. Always, because you never know what someone's going to be able to see or not. So it's better to be safe than sorry. Plus, the primer and the paint give the parts a protective coating, just in case, especially when you're panel lining. Panel lining, if you do it wrong, can be completely detrimental to your model. So that's kind of my take on it. I paint everything. Even if you can't see it, I paint it. Just to be on the safe side, especially the inner frame, because that's going to be the most fragile part, because those parts are going to be under strain as you flex them, bend them, whatever, right? So yeah, I paint, prime and paint everything. Let's see. Brandon says, I have 3 episodes left in the Just a Build. You're my background noise at work. Nice. William Wilms says, grow a beard and wear a robe like the dude. Nah, I'm not gonna. That's not me. Kenneth Sims says, Tim needs Bob's hair for stream too. Yeah, like one of those big fros, right? I might have to borrow Justin's for that, because he's got the fro. Mr. His little character, Bustinius. Such a good character. I keep telling him he needs to bring that back, or give Bustinius like his own channel and stuff, but he doesn't listen. Who am I, right? All right. So, with that being said, we've got the upper leg here, right? And So this little part right here is only being held in by these two little clips right there, right? That's it. Just right in there. So we need to set that apart. We can't lose that part just yet. We need to split these two parts and get these fused together without fusing our knee assembly. We got to be careful with that. So we be very careful to split these parts. And if you bevel the inside of the connection tubes, then it shouldn't be a problem, like it was just there. Let's get zoomed out so we can see a little bit more of the area, right? All right, so, goddamn, what is up with my screen? It keeps blacking out on me. Killing me. Anyway, I think... No, it's not that. I don't know. I think I might have to check. I'll probably have to check the connection or something. Anyway, you guys aren't seeing it, so you don't have to worry about it. So, luckily for us, we only have this little bit down here that actually seams together, right? So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a page out of Brandon's book, and we're going to kind of paint this on here real quick over this. We're just going to slather that up real nice. And now, make sure to... it's got a little bit on that knee. We don't want that to fuse. So, let's get that knee off of there. Let's wipe that off. And then we'll put the knee back in place. And there we go. No glue touching now. Good. Alright, so, let's get a little more back on here, since it dried up a little bit. Right in there, and then pop this guy back on. Oh, come on now. Pop this guy back on. Where'd it go? Oh, I got it upside down. There we are. Just like that. All right. So that is now fused, right? There we go. So we're gonna put this part back in place, and we're gonna fuse this now. Just a little bit of glue here, just like that. Okay, so there we are. Now this is ready to fuse together, which we'll let this sit for a little bit, and then we'll do that at a later time. Okay, so we'll put that off to the side. Let's revert back to our other leg pieces, which we still need to clean up a little bit. So we're going to take the Dremel to these, and we're going to clean these up a little bit, right? So, but before we do that, let's see here. Persistent Turtle, Mr. Lucas says, do you have a desktop with HDMI? Yeah, I do. It is through HDMI, and I just think the connection's loose or something like that, so... not a big deal. He says at times the HDMI cord can be the problem. Wiggle the cord. Yeah, and I think that's exactly what it is, because like when the desk shakes and stuff like that, and it pulls on there's an arm that supports everything, and I think that's what it is. Wobish says, why don't you have a USA Gundam Store code? I had to use Zaku Aurelius when I did my order. I just, I don't. I mean, I'm partnered with Adam through Mecha Decals and everything. The code really doesn't do much. The code is a discount code, and it pretty much tracks where the traffic is coming from, right? The code wouldn't really support me or help me or anything like that, so I don't need one. Mikkel's over there. He says, let's all build till heart's content. Yeah, well, we're doing that already, Mikkel. We're doing that already, buddy. All right, so let's get this part cleaned up. Now, let's take a look at this and see what we are working with here. So, what I can see first and foremost is that there's that kind of pie-shaped gap in there, right? That triangular gap, and we need to level, especially this part out, but then we also need to come back in and level this part out here too, right? And that, what it'll do, that'll bring these two together and straighten it out and everything, right? So that's what we need to do. So, anywho, George says, gotta roll, Tim, but going to leave the stream on. George, thank you, buddy. Appreciate that, dude. Wobish, Mr. Woody says, cool. Kyle says, Tim, I sent you a message. Check it out when you can. Roger that. After the stream. So, give me like half hour or something, Kyle. Anyway, all right. So, for this, we need to put our eyes on to protect them, because we don't want to be like Chris Pabs and have plastic, molten plastic flying into our eye sockets. So, we put that down, we protect our eyes, and just we're being safe, right? So, yeah, I love the sound of that. Love the sound of that. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to carefully nibble away at this plastic here and just start leveling this out, right? And you don't want to do all of this with the Dremel. You want to kind of get the majority of it. But then you want to come in with your bastard file and really level it out, right? So that looks pretty good. Let's get this piece. This piece is easier because we've got this green block to act as our guide, right? So we can just basically go right along the level of this green block and just kind of nibble away at everything. There we go. That looks good. All right. Enough of the spinny boy. Still get crap all over you from that. Looks like you got dandruff and shit. Like you need Head and Shoulders. But anyway. All right. So let's check alignment here real quick, and let's see. All right. So that looks infinitely better. There's still a little bit of fine-tuning to do. We have to flatten this piece out a little bit because there's some kind of high points, low points and stuff. So we're going to do that with the big old bastard file. And we're just going to come in here and just kind of start going to town. And yep, there it goes. As soon as I shake the desk, that's what's. It's got to be the HDMI cord. You son of a bitch. Got the demon. Julio, exercise the demon for me. All right. So that looks pretty damn good. Nice and flat and level. Let's check it with our 2mm strip here. And that's, ooh, that look at that. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We need to flatten this out a little bit here, though. All right, there we go. All right, let's see what we've got here. Yeah, much better. Much better. All right, so let's double check everything here.